Hello, everyone. Welcome to the next in our series of PIX educational webinars about virtual reality, where today we're going to be discussing the metaverse, how it may impact commercial real estate, and you. My name is Demetrios Lejotis. I am the President and Chief Operating Officer of RealNex, and also the Chief Operating Officer of our sister company, PIX. Today we have Mike Lurg, who's our CTO of PIX, along with Chris Sayre, who is our art director. Combined, they have over 60 years of experience in the 3D VR space, ranging from creating the first 3D video games to working on major motion pictures, and as well as creating VR-based training environments for nuclear reactor operators, global franchises, and the US military. Also have a special guest today, Stephanie Gillison from eXp Realty, that will give us a demonstration of their metaverse platform. I think you're going to find that very interesting. So in terms of what we're going to talk about today, the first thing we'll do is kind of frame the issue for you. Let's start out by providing some ideas of what the metaverse is, and hope to frame the issue for you. Like all new things, there's not a single universally accepted view of what the metaverse is or where it can evolve to. Having put some parameters around that, we'll talk about what the general opportunities are, what they could be, and how some are already capitalizing on the idea of the metaverse. We'll then take some time to discuss how components of the metaverse are already being used within some aspects of the commercial real estate industry, what the potential long-term implications may be, and give you a glimpse of how the metaverse-enabled environment can function within the real estate industry. I will now turn it over to Mike to explain the metaverse and talk about the opportunities that it holds. Mike?
Great. Thanks, Dee. If you're unsure what the metaverse is, you're not alone. The metaverse does not yet have a definition in the Merriam-Webster dictionary. A metaverse is generally defined as a virtual world where users can interact through an avatar to have experiences as they would in the real world. Metaverses may become through an omniverse, a successor state to the internet, and a platform where people will work, play, shop, and socialize. To put this into context, Web 1.0 connected information, and you got the internet. Web 2.0 connected people, and you got social media. Web 3.0 and the metaverse connects people, places, and things. Right now, we're at the end of Web 2.0 and starting Web 3.0. Overall, the metaverse is all about experiences, personal interactions, and community. The metaverse can be experienced through a completely digital world or a digital world augmentation of the real world. This will blur the lines between them. This digital world may include digital twins of real-world physical assets or completely fictional elements. In addition to this, elements of blockchain and cryptocurrencies will be widely used within the metaverse. Today, discussions of the metaverse typically make reference to online 3D games such as Fortnite. An example of a more immersive version of the metaverse can be seen through Beat Saber that uses a VR headset. Games like Roblox are used as examples of decentralized nature and the commerce potential of the metaverse. Other elements that will be part of the metaverse that are being used in the physical world are things like Zoom, voice assistants such as Alexa, and remote trainers for things like Peloton and Tonal that will provide performance feedback using digital tools. The metaverse will not be simply a place we go to. When fully built out to incorporate the Internet of Things, digital twins, and the elements of Web 3.0, the metaverse will be all around us. Access will not be constrained to any single device, such as a computer or gaming console. With the completion of true 5G wireless networking and edge computing, the metaverse will be fully accessible through personal devices such as smartphones, smart glasses, and other types of devices yet to be developed. While the concept of the metaverse exists today, mostly in games such as Minecraft, Roblox, or Fortnite, it has started to evolve into the next phase, as witnessed by the billions of dollars Microsoft, Facebook, now known as Meta, and others are investing annually. The rationale for these levels of investment is driven by the active user rates, which range from 130 to 350 million people per month, per platform. Other metaverse platforms, such as the Sandbox and Decentraland, which are virtual worlds that operate like cities where users can buy land, develop buildings, including houses and commercial properties, and generate revenues in various ways. In just the past 2 months, plots of virtual land in these metaverse platforms have been bought for as much as $4.3 million. In a prior record-breaking purchase just 2 weeks before the current record holder, 116 parcel estate in Decentraland was purchased for $2.4 million. This purchase is the equivalent of roughly $400 per square foot. As another example, someone recently paid $450,000 for a virtual plot of land to become Snoop Dogg's digital neighbor in the sandbox. The metaverse is expected to yield trillions of dollars of opportunities while reaching billions of users.
So let's talk about what the digital opportunity could be. When we think about this, one example is Microsoft, which has a significant component of its revenue that comes from gaming. And then you also have things like e-commerce with Amazon. We also can look at travel, Airbnb, offices like WeWork and others, and then the entertainment industry. And so each of these businesses can be either replicated or expanded in the metaverse. That's why Microsoft recently paid $68.7 billion in a completely cash deal to buy Activision, which is one of the leading gaming companies around, to add to their portfolio.
So some aspects of the metaverse are already being used in the commercial real estate industry. One of these is the ability to operate in a digital immersive environment. In this case, we have a digital twin of a pre-construction property. Because of the connectivity of the metaverse, there is the ability to access pertinent information about the property as you virtually explore it. This digital twin also gives people the ability to customize elements of the building, freely interacting with it, and once the physical building exists, can facilitate property management with the ordering of replacement parts. The metaverse can facilitate the transaction of physical assets in addition to digital assets, or both. In this case, potential buyers of this condominium were able to truly explore each layout and choose between 4 interior finish options. They could tour each of the layouts and configurations from the comfort of their home at any time. As a result, the developer was able to pre-sell 94% of the units before construction was complete and obtain deposits on 80% of the units for the next phase of the development, even before its building design was complete. A digital twin of this building could be added to a virtual environment such as Decentraland or the Sandbox, and would allow the developer to sell both the physical and digital versions of the units, with the digital units increasing the revenue generated by the project and hence the return on investment. This also means that any broker attached to the sellout of the project could have 2 revenue streams rather than 1, depending on whether the digital and physical units were sold as a package or separately. The metaverse holds the potential to have a large impact on retail, real estate, and its tenants. The online games that we have mentioned have generated tens of millions of dollars in revenue for the sale of digital costumes for players' avatars, often referred to as skins. More recently, there are growing examples of people's willingness to make extravagant purchases of virtual merchandise, such as $341,000 for the virtual tiara, $650,000 for a virtual yacht, or $4,000 for a virtual purse, in this case, $600 more than the real one costs. Although the price of these virtual objects is extreme, in the metaverse, the value of something is a function of affinity, or liking it, utility, what you can do with it, and scarcity. In some cases, like the purse, the virtual object may have a higher value than the one in the real world. Blockchain technology assures the uniqueness, which creates a resale market for these assets. Similar to the discussions we had about digital and physical condos, this points to an opportunity for retailers to sell both physical and digital versions of their products. It also enables premium brands to expand their brand by selling digital versions of their products at a lower price than their physical products, making it affordable to the millions of buyers who couldn't afford their physical product but want to have it for their avatar. Here are some examples of current augmented reality applications that are expediting the sales cycle. We have IKEA with furniture, Warby Parker with glasses, and Giorgio Armani for makeup. These are more examples of the ability to increase online sales of both real world and virtual products. In all these cases, when you buy the physical object, the digital version could be unlocked within the metaverse to populate your virtual home or be worn by your avatar. As we've shown, some people may have more interest in the virtual object than the real one, creating the opportunity for a new revenue stream. While watching a real or virtual concert, you may be able to see how a particular garment or accessory worn by the artist would look on you, see it in other colors, and have it ordered and sent to your home from your concert seat. During the event, a live auction could be run by the actual pieces worn by the artist. To accommodate this increase in real-world online sales, last-mile distribution centers and related infrastructure would be needed to support this potential increase in e-commerce. Here's a closer example of what a full e-commerce experience in the metaverse could be. In this case, attending events at a flagship store like this one by Lancome. Some of the features included in this virtual experience are the ability to engage with beauty advisors, get a skincare consultation, participate in live streaming events, and shop their exclusive offers. Another example would be a virtual clothes shopping experience that utilizes body scanning technology that exists today to enable someone to try on a range of options very quickly without having to be in the physical store. Events such as concerts in the metaverse are an entirely new platform that gives artists new ways to reach a greater audience and more effectively monetize their work. Attendance of and revenue of virtual concerts in the metaverse are growing exponentially. In 2019, the 10-minute virtual Marshmello concert held in Fortnite was attended by 11 million participants and has been watched over 60 million times on YouTube. In 2020, a virtual concert by Travis Scott, also in Fortnite, reached 45.8 million participants and has been watched almost 180 million times on YouTube. In comparison, the highest rated Prime TV show that night had only 3.8 million viewers. Travis Scott's virtual 10-minute concert generated $20 million, which was 10 times more revenue than any of his in-person 2-hour concerts. To put this into perspective, his in-person shows generated $1 million per hour, and his virtual event generated $2 million per minute. Based on this trend, the metaverse could negatively impact demand for concert venues and could further impact the supporting hospitality industry. It also presents an opportunity for venues to generate more revenue per show. The metaverse would allow various business models where a virtual seat can be sold countless times by the venue owner, or sold one time to a specific owner, allowing ownership rights and value to accrue to that owner.
Let's now take a look at what's going on in the convention space, as this can impact a range of things from hospitality to retail and transportation, among other things. A recent study on conferences by Kaltura found that 94% of event organizers are planning virtual events in 2022. This is up 2% from what happened last year. 67% of event organizers plan to use a hybrid approach, and this seems to be how many will be done for the foreseeable future. The top 3 benefits of virtual events include higher attendee engagement, along with a greater number of people registering. Obviously, that means more revenue for the event organizers, and a better ROI, both for the organizers and the perception of the attendees. What attendees seem to prefer for in-person events is where there's a lot of networking or potential for networking involved, but remote events are much more favored for educational purposes. So where there's a need for interacting with people or the desire, that's where you tend to find more people willing and wanting to have those in-person events. But by a factor of 3 or 4 to 1, when it's just going to be some sort of educational session, people seem to be more happy these days with attending remotely. What's supporting this also is there are a range of different mobile apps that conference attendees can now use, such as Wovia, which helps drive some of these outcomes. It's also helping attendees overcome the lack of direct networking opportunities when they are remote. And by example, I attended last month a conference where there were about 800 people in the venue, which I was one of, but there are also hundreds of other people that were attending remotely. And through this app, a range of things could happen. For example, someone decided to arrange a dinner for all the people that were involved in real estate. And this was more of an investment-focused conference, but it covered a range of different industries. And so someone posted on the app, I'm hosting a dinner. I have 7 seats open, first come, first serve. Whoever responds, please join me at 7 o'clock tonight. And within minutes, the table was filled. By the same token, I've gotten just even recently outreach from someone who was attending remotely found me through the app. You have to fill out a little profile. It takes a couple of minutes, doesn't take that long. But that enables people to find you. And so even after the conference is over, they can reach out to you and try to connect and see if there's an opportunity. The other thing is, within the context of that physical meeting, obviously getting to meet 800 people can be a challenge. And so this gives you the opportunity to quickly scan through all the attendees and try to find people, so that if you find someone that you think is maybe a really good opportunity for you, or maybe you think you have a good opportunity for them, you can instantaneously just reach out to them, figure out a place to meet, and not just to have to hope randomly to be able to run into them and find the person that you were looking for. So there's a lot of different things that are going on for these hybrid events. I think we're going to see more and more of this going forward. The biggest takeaway is the impact of virtual events, whether it's for entertainment or business purposes, could be material on what is already a struggling, as we know, hospitality industry. And you can think about the range of impacts, not just from the hotels, but for the retail around and involved the hotels, the restaurant industry, transportation, and we'll talk more about that later on.
Thanks, T. So we've talked about the various segments of real estate industry. Now we're going to try to pull all together the various aspects in this example, which is a virtual model of downtown Raleigh, North Carolina. This is a fully interactive experience that anyone can freely explore. We just discussed the potential impact on entertainment and hospitality. You can see that we started with looking at the hotel. As we go down the street, it's easy for brokers and potential tenants to identify and locate available properties. It is possible to provide virtual access to the available spaces and customize the spaces to meet the needs of a particular tenant, so they can quickly determine if that space fits their needs. It's also possible to visualize what-if scenarios for any site. This can be a tremendous aid for developers in the pre-development, approval, lease-up, or sales process. Within a metaverse environment, the ability to quickly create a property and analyze traffic enables developers to efficiently optimize tenant mix and tenants to perform site selection. In addition to just having their storefronts visible, merchants have a wide range of advertising opportunities to help bridge the gap from clicks to bricks. One example is having pop-up coupons with limited time offers that are good for as little as days or even hours. The ability to gamify these environments can attract traffic, build community, and draw people's interest to a region. If properly utilized, these capabilities can benefit the retail and hospitality sectors within a physical community, which should lead to overall increased economic development. According to new research from Lenovo, close to half of employees, 44%, are willing to work in the metaverse rather than return to the office. This is because they believe doing so can help boost their productivity and deliver other benefits. But their willingness to do so varies based upon their belief that their employers may not have the staff and resources needed to do so effectively. Here is an example of multiple people collaboratively touring a virtual office while communicating during the interaction in real time. Given that the work from home trend is not going away, office spaces will need to adapt to support the increase in hybrid work environments. We want to shift their view from being an owner of a building, provider of an effective and efficient collaborative working environment. With a private metaverse, office building owners can supplement access to the physical space rather than displacing it.
Okay, now you're in for a treat. We're going to show you a true metaverse in use for business purposes that is functioning today. And before we turn it over to Stephanie, a little bit of background on this. In December of 2020, James Huang, who's the president of EXP, and Stephanie, who is the director of growth, launched EXP Commercial, which is owned by EXP World Holdings. In 12 months, EXP Commercial has seen exponential growth. EXP Commercial's sister company, EXP Realty, has over 72,000 real estate agents across the US and in 18 countries. What's interesting is EXP Commercial operates fully remote, utilizing their own metaverse solution. They do not have any physical offices. And so with that, I want to welcome Stephanie and thank you for joining us. We're really excited to see how your virtual corporate environment works and to learn how you've been able to transform the brokerage environment through this digital platform.
Thank you all so much for having me on. And what's great about our environment and the way we've been able to have that exponential growth is having this type of real estate, this virtual real estate, EXP World, for all of us agents and brokers to collaborate no matter where we're located on the planet, in all honesty. In this world, we have everything from all of our global operations with all of our countries that are listed here that we're open with. I can be in Germany operations with just a click of a button. I don't know what time it is currently in Germany, but I have a feeling they're closed right now because they're on a different time zone, obviously, than we are. But in here, the way we're able to build a multi-billion-dollar company with less than 1,600 staff members is because we're all working in this hub. We have got our EXP University so that all of our agents have access to training no matter where they're located in the world. We have got every state represented with broker offices. We've got accounting, we've got the payment processing, we've got the tech support. And so what this enables us is to not only hire talent no matter where they're located on the globe and on the planet, but to also bring them together in this environment so that we can truly have that collaborating effort. EXP Commercial, as you stated, we just launched at the very end of 2020. We scaled in less than 12 months to over 550 commercial licensees. This is something that we've been able to do because we're able to, at any given time, come into an auditorium like this, have our economists come in, teach at the large scale. We have done over 6 different commercial symposiums where I can grow this auditorium to over 10,000 people all at one time so that they can come in here and learn the state of commercial real estate. They can take part in product specialty meetings. They can engage with agents all over the globe and do business and transact. We're this one global company, but we can't have that type of environment if we are scattered throughout the United States in different brick and mortar offices. You know, that's more of that siloed concept. When in here, we can do business anywhere. And we really teach our agents and show them that ability to be able to collaborate with a broker in Spain or a broker in India, or whether they're located in Kentucky or New York or Florida, and really do business together. It's interesting because on the EXP Realty side, which has been around for over a decade, that is our residential business. And we found and figured out that a state like Florida, with 8,000 residential real estate agents, can actually be operated and managed with a team of about 28 employees. And it's all because of working in this virtual world. And when an agent has a broker question, or like we talked about earlier, marketing, accounting, tech problems, or whatever, they log in no matter where they're located, and they get the help and assistance that they're needing. I can be in Texas with a click of a button. I can then be in Wyoming. I can be in Montana. This is purely interactive. Every single avatar is an actual person. We can unmute our mics and say hello and have a conversation back and forth. We also have built in, because as you saw, we're open in over 18 countries that speak multitudes of languages. So we have built into this software a translator. I can speak in here, and if, let's say, I'm going to be in Germany and I need it to be translated in German, it's going to do that for me. The avatar on the other end that I'm speaking to is going to hear what I'm saying in German. And then also, if I type down here in the chat box, it will also translate for them in the language that we're speaking. And so, again, we go back to, how does a real estate company build a multi-billion-dollar business in 10 years like EXP Realty? It's all because of operating in this platform, this metaverse. And it's funny, guys, because about 4 years ago when I came on to EXP Realty before launching EXP Commercial, people would chuckle. They go, "You work in that virtual platform real estate company?" But now it's everyday talk. And here we are having webinars about metaverses, right?
So one of the questions that was popped up is, the ability for a broker to sell virtual land. And I was curious how you handled that so far.
Well, you know what's great about this is that Verbella is the platform that owns and that invented this EXP world that we're in. Verbella is owned by EXP World Holdings, so you're not going to see another real estate company operating in a campus environment like this. But what we do is Verbella makes these campuses as big or as small as they want them to be for other businesses, universities, churches, and so forth. And so I was at SIR a couple months ago, the Society of Industrial and Office Realtors, and I had some office rep brokers come up to me and said, you know, one of our issues, we love your platform, we love what you all are doing, we love what the company's doing, but one of our things that we worry about is that you're not promoting office space, and that's what we specialize in. And I said, gentlemen, with us, you have an opportunity to represent as much real estate as you want, because these campuses are offices, they are environments. And so we have commercial agents and brokers that sell these environments and get paid a very good commission to do so.
Also, earlier in the presentation, you mentioned having access to IT. Someone asked a question in terms of cybersecurity, how that's handled.
So the logins to our campus are through an Okta integration, and our agents obviously and staff have to have the right credentials to get into this campus. It's not open to the public, and so without a guest pass, you just can't have access. So it is very highly controlled, you know, with that security, so that we can't have, you know, visitors, unwanted visitors coming in. Another way that they manage the credentials is you see that my name is in orange, and so that shows me or shows everyone that's in here that I am staff. I have different permission levels than those that are in blue, which are agents. And so, like, for example, I can click up here and change what this sign says, or I can post a new picture or maneuver and work any of these boards that you see throughout the different rooms. Agents don't necessarily have all of those abilities.
That's very interesting. One of the other aspects that I've seen you demonstrate before is the aspect of a ticket, of how you can queue up people when you have say a group of people wanting to talk to the same person. How do you handle that volume?
Absolutely. So we're going to go back to where all these people, they're doing a tour right now. Some of these people are visitors. So let's say I need tech support. I'm going to pull this ticket, and now I am on the wait list. So I can leave the wait list. I can head over to a different, oh, there we go. Now I am getting serviced. Hi, Makita. I just wanted, I am demoing this on a current Metaverse webinar, and I wanted to show them how our ticket support system operated. So I just pulled a ticket and you grabbed me, and I appreciate you just for the demonstration purposes. You are on a national webinar. Thank you. And so that's how easy that is. So now, if there had been a long line, and you see there's several different support people in here ready to take those tickets, but I could have gone off to, you know, EXP commercial operations and, you know, finished some work. And then basically when my ticket was ready, they would have pulled me from wherever I was located in this EXP world.
And just a little while ago, I saw you in the speedboat. And what other types of events do you have for social networking and the sense of community?
You know, it's so funny because when COVID first happened, gosh, it's been 2 years ago now. One of the things that we wanted to do was really lift people's spirits, and so we ended up we have this is basketball courts. I can change these to soccer fields, and so we actually held the U.S. Open in here for soccer. And each state and each country had a team, and we came in here and we competed and had soccer games. And it got down to the end, and there were 2 provinces in Canada that won it all. So you know, that's how it worked. But we've been able to bring fun into this environment and also keep that collaboration going. And so we've got many of different things, but we've got speakeasies, which a speakeasy is a nightclub. We've got plenty of different things, and obviously with a few clicks of a button, they can add and do different things, but the boats are pretty fun.
Stephanie, I think one of the things that people struggle with a little bit is kind of the more cartoonish nature of some of these metaverse environments as they see it. You want to talk a little bit about what you have planned, what sort of advancements are coming?
Absolutely. So this year, Verbella's already working on this and about to roll it out, but this is what I look like inside our EXP world. And pretty soon, we are really going to be able to hone in on facial features. I'm going to really be able to make my avatar look like I do in real life. Put the wrinkles on my forehead or the lines, you know, change the hair to if I've got the highlights. We've got an agent, a commercial broker, very well known in real estate for being an influencer on social media. And in real life, he has dyed white hair and then his natural red beard. And so when he's in here currently, he's just all red hair. But soon he's going to be able to do that white hair with that red beard. But also, as well, we're doing an incorporation with the camera. And if we so choose to in the future, I can actually will be able to click a button and turn my camera on so that this face can actually be my real face. And so those are what things are coming. We're going to look more and more like our real true selves. And not everybody's going to be as skinny as we appear to look in the XP world.
Thanks, Stephanie. That was fantastic, and I think really gives a great example to everybody of all the capabilities that the metaverse can bring, and hopefully opens their mind to the potential of where it could go. While the metaverse until now has typically been thought of in terms of some online gaming environments with hundreds of millions of users, the next stage of the metaverse's evolution is already beginning to be seen through the creation of virtual worlds where small digital land parcels are selling for real world prices, to the extent where we already have our first digitally focused REIT. And as you just saw, a true business use application is already in play. So as we've discussed, the metaverse could significantly reduce the demand for physical space, particularly office, retail, hospitality, and entertainment. And some or all of the demand for this physical space could potentially be offset by demand for digital space, maybe with the exception of hospitality, but maybe there's a way to overcome that as well. We'll talk about that in a minute. The other thing is the increased commerce within the metaverse could further increase demand for industrial space, particularly last mile, and also could be a boon to retailers as they struggle to figure out how to continue to bridge that clicks and bricks divide. In combination, these changes, along with the impact on the transportation industry, could likely cause a major shift in things like urban planning, economic development, and housing requirements. Think about in terms of the transportation industry, things like airlines, trains, parking garages, car services, taxis, ride shares like Uber and Lyft, public transportation such as buses and subways and how they depend on ridership fares in order to continue to support the operations as well as the maintenance of those things, and similarly highway infrastructure, particularly if there are toll revenue involved in these things, and how a reduction in travel could also reduce that toll revenue and therefore put strain on maintaining that sort of infrastructure. So in short, there could be a materially negative impact, but there could also be some ample opportunities that are created. For example, we've talked about the hospitality and entertainment, but you also saw the difference in revenue generation that could occur through these concerts. Think about $1 million an hour versus $2 million per minute. The fact that people could be willing to quote unquote vacation in the metaverse is another way to transition or ease the transition from maybe a reduction in the use of physical space, but making up for that in terms of the digital space. So some closing thoughts and things to consider. The blending of the physical and digital worlds opens up a range of new opportunities and possibilities. However, it's also clear that there are some new issues that are going to have to be ironed out. One question that comes up is, does the idea of property need to expand to account for digital or virtual assets? In real estate, we talk about the bundle of rights associated with real estate. It seems like that's going to have to expand to account for the fact that there may be other assets that are an offshoot of that property. What do we need to do to protect those quote unquote digital rights? For example, think about the photos of buildings that some may currently claim ownership of, or an iconic building whose image may be considered to be part of the public domain that revenue can now be generated from. How do we deal with those sorts of issues? How should digital property or physical assets with a digital twin that also generate revenue be valued? Think of an Airbnb business model applied to digital assets, like they are with the physical assets. How should that income be accounted for? That raises a whole host of questions, particularly when you get into longer term leases and thinking about what sort of rates people can charge and how sustainable that might be. Obviously, it also comes into play when you think about the fact that while a number of these digital cities, metaverses, say that they won't expand the amount of land, there's no limit on the amount of metaverses that can be expanded. Digital property sales also come into play in that discussion. They've been driven by the idea of a metaverse being limited, a fixed amount of space. And so what happens if the owner of a metaverse decides to expand anyway? That gets back to the property rights issue. But also, how does one account for the fact that there could be an unlimited number of metaverses created? And think about that in the context of this person that paid $450,000 for a digital parcel to be next to Snoop Dogg. And let's say another metaverse is created and they lure Snoop Dogg to come and they give him a better deal to help them promote that metaverse. And all of a sudden, he's not as active in the metaverse that he's in now because he's trying to shift attention to this new one because he's economically incented to do that. And then finally, will anyone own the Omniverse and how will that be managed? The internet is out there and there are components of it that obviously need to be maintained, but one of the key concepts of the metaverse is that it's decentralized. That means no one controls it. No one really owns the whole thing. And without a proper structure, this could result in what's often called the tragedy of the commons, meaning there is no one in control and then therefore no one takes care of it. Given that there's zero or near zero friction to move from one environment to another, this could result in a swift and catastrophic loss of users that could severely reduce property values. So there's a number of things that I think we're going to need to work through, and in the commercial real estate industry in particular, I think there are some implications of this that we really need to be careful of and thoughtful about as we move forward. But it seems clear that the metaverse is here, and it will be part of what we need to think about in the context of real estate going forward.
Well, thanks for joining for today's webinar. A video replay of this will be sent out to you shortly, and we look forward to having you join us in our future webinars. Thanks. Have a good day.